Good Sunday morning, everyone. Taking a live look outside over downtown Denver. What a gorgeous sight. Let's just soak that in for a minute. The sun is creeping up and it's looking like it's shaping up to be another beautiful day. Thank you so much for sharing a part of your Sunday with us. Anusha here along with Jeremy and Greg. Good morning, guys. We were all just swapping what time we went to bed and how much sleep we got last night.
How much sleep did you get? I think
like 6-ish.
That's good. That's really good.
I can't complain. My kiddo's going through sleep regression right now, so it's like 6 split up in like 3 different ways, but it was still 6, I think.
That's okay.
Yeah, right? As long as it adds up, that's all that matters.
Yeah, no complaints.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Yeah, this is our mood this morning. That's what's going on
here.
here.
No complaints. We're good.
But I do have really good news weather-wise.
Okay.
Really good
Bring it
news.
on. We can use it today.
We're going to be working with plenty of sunshine, warmer than where we were yesterday, but it is going to come with a little bit of a breeze too.
Yeah.
We have a red flag warning in effect for us. Not only that, a very busy weather day throughout all of Colorado as the northern mountains are going to be experiencing a little bit of snowfall, and we are also going to be dealing with some stronger winds on the western slopes too. So very, very busy in the Weather Center for today. Not much going on with the HD Doppler radar, maybe a few flurries along the northern foothills and Front Range. Otherwise, that dry air is going to be moving into the picture. That's part of the reason why we have red flag warnings down towards the south and east. Currently, temperatures in the middle to lower 20s, 23 degrees in Denver. A chilly start to our day. Colorado Springs at around 45 degrees. Pueblo, upper 20s and lower 30s. We'll make our way, though, into the middle 50s. Can't complain. Once again, the only fly in the ointment that we're going to be dealing with winds coming out of the west, anywhere between 20 to 30 miles per hour. And that, of course, is part of the reason why the Denver metro area is under a red flag warning. That is starting at 11 o'clock this morning, lasts up until 7 o'clock today. Gusts up to 50 miles per hour possible. And even stronger gusts down towards the southeast plains, Pueblo and Waldenburg, gusts up to 60 miles per hour. There's that mountain snow that I was talking about, 6 to 12 inches for the flat tops, 4 to 8 inches as you're getting into Rocky Mountain National Park. And on top of all of that, still high wind warnings and high wind watches on top of wind advisories, that is. I'll be talking about that and a whole lot more coming up.
All right, thanks so much for that, Greg. A man has died and a police officer is in the hospital this morning after the two crashed in Aurora last night. The officer was responding to a call of a break-in around 8 o'clock last night. The chief said the officer was in a marked Chevy Tahoe when the crash happened. This was in the intersection of Chambers Road and Bates Avenue with the Toyota Corolla in the Meadowood neighborhood. The patrol vehicle rolled and came to a rest on the roof, trapping the officer inside.
A vehicle pulled out in front of him that was eastbound on East Bates. The speed of either vehicle is undetermined at this time. That'll be part of the investigation. The patrol car rolled over and the officer was trapped in the car. I would just ask that everyone listening please pray for that family that lost their loved one this evening. My heart goes out to them.
Aurora Fire Rescue responded to this crash and transported the officer and the driver of the other car to a local hospital. Aurora Police Chief Art Acevedo says that the officer who joined the department a year ago was seriously hurt but is expected to recover. The other driver sadly died shortly after getting to the hospital. Colorado State Patrol has now taken over the investigation. A few hours ago, Denver police also tweeted out that they were investigating a crash, this one involving multiple people hurt and multiple cars. It happened on West Colfax over I-25. I just talked to DPD. They said that area should be opening up shortly as tow trucks are able to move the cars out of the way.
A group of Democratic lawmakers are pushing to ban so-called assault weapons in Colorado after mass shootings both around the country and right here in our state. That bill was officially introduced on Friday night. This bill was introduced the very same day Denver East High School students walked out of class in response to the death of a classmate from gun violence. 16-year-old Luis Garcia was shot outside East High. Students made their way to the state capitol demanding tougher gun laws. The bill defines assault weapon as certain semi-automatic rifles with a detachable ammunition magazine and other modifications. This includes semi-automatic pistols that meet certain parameters. The bill would let people who already own assault weapons keep their guns. It would ban the sale of transfer of those guns moving forward, with exceptions for law enforcement officers and military service members. The gun rights advocacy group Rocky Mountain Gun Owners is calling the measure unconstitutional, saying it violates Second Amendment rights. 9 other states have already similar weapons bans in place. Democrats are pushing a package of 4 other gun bills this session. One would put in place a 3-day waiting period to buy a gun. Another would raise the age to buy a gun to age 21. The third would expand who can file a red flag order. And the fourth would make it easier to sue gun makers for liability.
Suicide is such a difficult topic to talk about. Sometimes it's only whispered about. But there's this new documentary about a local family coping with loss after suicide that's hoping to change that.
Yeah, very important topic to talk about. The goal of the film, called My Sister Liv, is to give people permission to talk about suicide because it could save a life. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon takes us to the Boulder International Film Festival.
Walking into the Boulder International Film Festival before the screening of My Sister Liv.
Thank you. These are from the people who made the movie.
Each audience member is given a packet with step-by-step instructions on how to talk about suicide.
Dear Liv, it's me, your big sister, Tessie.
This documentary tells the story of Liv and Tess Kunick, best friends and sisters.
You know, the film is really a love letter from myself to Liv.
Tess tries desperately to save her younger sister as she and her family watch her struggle with the pressures of social media, body dysmorphia, self-harm, and suicidal thoughts.
She was so well equipped to help others in their emotional distress, but it was hard for her to reach out when she was struggling.
This documentary has one goal.
The whole purpose of the work that we're doing is to encourage fearless and open conversations around mental health.
Liv and Tess's mom, Honey Buff, says they want to give people permission to talk about suicide as it continues to be a leading cause of death for children.
Liv, I was so afraid to talk, but I'm noticing that every time I share your story, people start to open up.
Directly after the screening, audience members are invited to a discussion.
You know, these conversations after are also really important to have.
The film premiered in November and is already starting conversations people thought they couldn't or shouldn't have.
And she asked her daughter if she had ever experienced these feelings, and her daughter said, "Yes, Mom, I've been having them for a few months now."
It's these conversations that are already saving lives.
By sharing your story and Liv's story, I believe you saved my daughter's life.
It really does save lives to bring it out into the public, make it part of just the conversation around the dinner table.
Because when you talk about it and you verbalize it, you're acknowledging a lot of times those feelings, right? And sometimes those feelings can be very awkward to talk about these days, but when you get them out in the open and you're able to kind of talk about it with someone that you trust, you know.
Whoever that is.
Yeah, and you're able to reach out and have that human connection, you know.
It is a completely great thing that they're doing, and it's such a conversation that even teens have been bringing up themselves, and so to see that is just, it's so powerful. You know, while making the documentary, Tess and Honey were also inspired to create a nonprofit. It's called the Liv Project, and they're already planning to bring the film to high schools across the country. It has been vetted and then created alongside mental health professionals.
And that's very important for mental health professionals to be involved with this, right? Because there's a lot of sensitive things that are talked about here. The first screening of this project will be at Chatfield High School later on this month. If you'd like to see the film, or you can bring a screening to your community, you can head to the livproject.org.
And just on the other side of this break, in a couple of minutes, you're going to have your first chance to jump into some freezing water, but it's for a really good cause. We're talking about the Special Olympics and the polar plunge.
Yeah, it raises money for the Special Olympics of Colorado. You can take the plunge or run in the 5K.